Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Welcome this Friday morning to our continuing study of the Zohar. We're now in volume 4, having really only recently begun it after having finished volumes 1, 2, and 3, cover to cover, section by section, page by page, paragraph by paragraph, sentence by sentence, and word by word. Let me say something here that amplifies a statement I put out on Facebook. There is a great deal of argument around the Zohar. There are those who believe that it was brought down by Shimon Bar Yochai 300 AD. The Orthodox believe that. Orthodox Jews who, in fact, respect, honor, and follow the Zohar, and there are those who do, even though they may not truly understand it, believe that it was brought down from heaven by Shimon Bar Yochai, 300 AD. There are those, however, scholars, who believe there is good reason, and not really highly verified reason, but good reason, to believe that it actually emerged in the 13th century, late 12th, early 13th century. Supposedly discovered by and copied by a rabbi at the time, Rabbi Moshe de Leon. Rabbi Moshe de Leon. He claimed he found the original manuscripts written by hand by Shimon Bar Yochai in the 3rd century and copied them into newer manuscripts, word for word, he claimed. Now, there's reason the scholars believe to think that that is not what happened, that he, quote, created the Zohar, unquote. On the other hand, his wife testified for him that he did indeed discover these ancient manuscripts. So it's up in the air. My position is it doesn't matter a diddly squat whether it was originally set down by Shimon Bar Yochai or even, quote, created, unquote, by Rabbi Moshe de Leon. It doesn't matter. The scope and breadth of it, and depth of it, says that even if Moshe de Leon, quote, wrote it, unquote, it was dictated to him by the Holy Spirit. It was not something he wrote, but something that the Holy Spirit wrote through him. He was the pen and paper by which the Holy Spirit brought down the Torah de Atzilus, the spiritual Torah, in what has come to be called the Zohar. The same is true if indeed Shimon Bar Yochai wrote it, and Moshe de Leon, centuries later, copied it out. It was not written, whoever wrote it, and someone did, it was not written by them. It was not written by them. The person or persons who recorded it were writing down what the Holy Spirit was dictating to them. Now, from our point of view, we can substitute the collective unconscious, or the psyche, for the word God. The collective unconscious, the psyche, was uprushing through them and being recorded by them. How many of you are following me? I think for our purposes, it's best to think of it that way. In Jungian terms, that is in the same way that Jung did not write answer to Job, but that in his own thinking, but was written by something inside that was dictating it to him. In the same way that was true of answer to Job, it was true of the Zohar. You have to remember what a massive work the Zohar is, all 5 volumes of it. There are, of course, many volumes commenting on it afterward, but even the first 5 volumes, that's a massive work. Too deep, profound, and complex for just a man to have set down. So I think we have to make that understanding of ours very, very clear. It's for that reason that even the Orthodox, and particularly in Turkey and Istanbul and other Turkish countries and so forth, considered the Zohar not only equal in authority to the Old Testament, but in many instances more authentic. The Zohar is not just some hodgepodge put together by some dude who was putting down a lot of occult jibber-jabber. That is not what it is. It is holy revelation. Now, this is not just my point of view. This is the point of view of the early rabbis, particularly in Turkey. It was the point of view, certainly, of Sabbatai Zevi and Nathan of Gaza, and of Jacob Frank, whose followers indeed were called the Zoharists, in a point of view. When we're reading and interpreting this Zohar, we're not reading and interpreting something written by a man. The man, whoever it was, compiled it out of the dictating of the Holy Spirit, that is to say, the psyche of the collective unconscious. And for us, for me, it is indeed equal in authority to the Old Testament, even though in many, many instances it either contradicts the Old Testament or expands upon it in very unexpected and radical ways. We have to remember that. With that in mind, paragraph 147a in volume 4 turns to the written verse from the written Torah, and this is the heave offering which you shall take from them. And what the Zohar has done is to clearly show that the heave offering they are to take is God itself, the Shekhinah. The Shekhinah itself is to be sacrificed. It says the whole meaning of this verse is, take me, God, as a heave offering. Who shall take it? The children of Israel. That is to say, the Jews who are part of the community of Israel. The Kohanim, who are direct descendants of Aaron and Moses. For the sake of the whole community of Israel, which consists of both Jews and non-Jews alike. Who shall take it? The children of Israel. And whom should they take, and from whom should they take? From every man whose heart impels him, namely, from the supernal angels above, upon whom this heave offering, the Shekhinah, is raised. Those who do perpetually raise her up themselves to the supernal King. And when that Israel, when the whole community of Israel is worthy, they take her from those angels and bring her back down. Yesterday we gave an example of that from the Havdalah ritual at the end of the Shabbat, where the distinction between the profane and the sacred is reestablished. During the Shabbat, the distinction between the sacred and profane is done away with. They are both joined as one. But, as it says here, after that, the sacred and profane must again be separated. And that's exactly what we see being done in the Havdalah. Yet, through this heave offering is born, yet though this heave offering is borne aloft by them, quote, ye shall take, unquote, from them, in order to bring her down to earth. How are they to do this? Even in this dispensation, the power of good works, prayer, and keeping of the law. Now listen. Orthodox rabbis are going to tell you that what this means is you have to practice kosher, you have to practice being very, very frum on Shabbos and all that. But when the Zohar talks about the law, it is not talking about the law as the rabbis want to talk about it. It is talking about the Torah d'Atzilus, the spiritual Torah that was originally given through Moses to the children of Israel, but was taken back by God because of the sin of the golden calf. And that Torah, that law, consisted, God says it in the prophets, of one law and one law only. God says, when I first brought you out of Egypt, I gave you one law and one law only. That is to say, the Torah d'Atzilus. Listen to my voice. Then I shall be your God and you shall be my people. Nothing to do with rituals and sacrifices or anything else, but just listen to my voice actively with intention. Those who listen and keep that law through prayer and good works. Good works for who? Not good works for the world or for men, but good works on behalf of God, to heal God, not to heal man. Those who do good works in order to heal God, those who send up prayers in order to heal God, they're the ones who will indeed raise up the Shekhinah and bring her back down again to earth. It says, the heave offering is the Shekhinah, raised by those who do perpetually raise her up to the supernal king. And when Israel is worthy, they take her from them and bring her down. The tzaddikim raise up the Shekhinah intentionally to be united to the Holy King, and all of Israel bring her back down again to earth in order to benefit from her reunion with the Holy King. The Zohar goes on, who are those angels? The four who raise her, and in whom the heart of God takes delight. Yet, though this heave offering is borne aloft by them, quote, ye shall take, unquote, from them, in order to bring her down to earth. Notice this incredible emphasis on not only raising up the Shekhinah, but once she has reunited with the Holy King, bringing her back down again to earth. That's exactly what the Shabbos does. So the good works and prayer and so forth that's being referred to here, those all are collectively the Shabbat. tonight, in fact. But at the time when the temple yet stood, it was by means of the colors that were manifested below, after the pattern of the colors above, through the sacrificial worship. These colors drew down the teruma, the Shekhinah, to the lower spheres. That is to say, the colors which were below also prevailed over that which were above, the former bringing down the latter, one entering into the other, the former becoming bodies for the latter. Therefore it says, which ye shall take from them. Well, what colors are those? Now listen to, you ain't going to hear color being described anywhere else as being that which brings the reunited Shekhinah back down to earth. But that's what it's saying. Colors do. Again, a very strong reference to ritual magic, to theurgy. Colors. Let's ask ourselves, which colors? To some extent, it's going to be answered in the next verses, but which colors? The Zohar itself tells us. Let's look at the Zohar. If I can find it. There it is. Early in the Zohar. In fact, at the beginning. Hang on. Why do I always have this trouble finding what it is that I want? Well, I guess just so you'll see that it all isn't that easy. Hang on. Let me look at the... I think it's important because here we go. This is the Zohar on the very first word of the written Torah, Bereshit, in the beginning. Listen to what it says. When the king conceived of creating, he engraved engravings in the luster on high. A blinding spark flashed within the concealed of the concealed. Let me pause here and tell you, this is a description of the experience of the yet unborn, fully formed child when it becomes, in a split second, conscious. There is a point within the womb when that happens. Prior to that, it's just a collection of cells called an erythroblast. But at a certain point in time, that fully formed, but not yet born infant becomes conscious. And this is a description of that experience within that yet to be born child. An experience all of us have had. A blinding spark flashed within the concealed of the concealed. From the mystery of the infinite, a cluster of vapor and formlessness set in a ring, not white, not black, not red, not green, no color at all initially. Then a band spanned in yielding radiant colors. Deep within the spark gushed a flow, imbuing colors below. Concealed within the concealed of the mystery of the infinite. Try to picture that fully formed infant curled up in the familiar pose of the unborn infant in the womb, having exactly this experience. The flow broke through and did not break through its aura. It was not known at all until after the impact of breaking through. One high and hidden point shown. Beyond that point, nothing is known, so it is called Bereshit, the first command of all. The first command of all. And then it quotes from Daniel. The enlightened will shine like the Zohar of the sky, and those who make the masses righteous will shine like the stars forever and ever. Zohar, it then says, concealed of the concealed struck its aura. The aura touched and did not touch this point. Then this beginning emanated and made itself a palace for its glory and its praise. There it sowed the seed of holiness to give birth for the benefit of the universe. The secret is her stock is a holy seed. The birth of every infant is not for the benefit of man, either that infant or mankind, but of the universe. Another is come who will reunite God within itself. Zohar, sowing a seed for its glory, like the seed of fine purple silk. The silkworm wraps itself within and makes itself a palace. This palace is its praise and a benefit to all. With the beginning, the concealed one, who is not known, created the palace. This palace is called Elohim. The secret is, with beginning, Elohim created Elohim. Elohim is plural. The gods are the palace. And those gods, Elohim, create Yahweh. We see that clearly. In the first chapter of Genesis, God is called Elohim. Everywhere in the first chapter, it is Elohim did this, Elohim did that. Elohim is plural. It means the gods. But then for the first time, in the second chapter, Yahweh is mentioned, and it is called Yahweh Elohim. Yahweh of the Elohim. Yahweh created by the Elohim. So the many create the one. And the colors are being described there. Primarily purple. This is why purple, archetypally, is symbolic of the king, royalty. I think all of you, if you think about it, know that. The king always wears purple robes. Yehshua HaNotzri was said to wear a robe of purple, because indeed he was following this commandment laid out in this prediction, laid out in the Zohar. Wearing the colors of God in order to bring the reunited Shekhinah down to earth. He wore purple. How many of you are following this? Yet again, we see a prefiguration of the Jesus incarnation. This is saying in the Zohar, which is pre-Christian, that color will bring down the sanctified Shekhinah for mankind. And that color we read elsewhere in the Zohar is purple. And we see that Jesus is crucified in a purple robe. We'll stop here and continue with this Monday morning, where it begins to talk about more colors. It says gold and silver, etc. Gold is included in Gabriel. The supernal gold is carried below by Gabriel. And 7 kinds of gold separate themselves from it. Silver above is united with Michael below, and one rests on the other. So 2 other colors, gold and silver, spoken of. I'll take down your hands and let me ask for comments, questions, feedback, reactions. Raise your hand. Chava, Ilan, Yeshai, Drew, go ahead. Here is the title. I just printed it out with the correct, with the correct spelling and everything, David. The Purple Robe of Yehshua HaNotzri. That is Jesus of Nazareth. That's the title. All right. Chava, Ilan, Yeshai, Drew, please, go ahead. You're welcome, Chava. Thank you. Good to see you. Ilan, go ahead. Yeshai, go ahead. Drew, go ahead. Thank you, David. Glad you got it. Waiting for now for Ilan, Yeshai, and Drew. Ilan. Oh, there you go. Wow. Baruch Hashem, Todah Abaji. You're welcome. Thank you, Ilan. Yeshai, go ahead. Drew, go ahead. Drew, divine slaps to the face. Baruch Hashem. Thank you, Drew. As always, very well said. Thank you. Well understood. Thank you. Yesod, go ahead. Yeshai, go ahead. Yesod, quadruple kick-ass exegesis. Envisioned you opening the Zohar this day and universes, many universes, full of color emanating from it outward. Wow. That the Shekhinah needs to be sacrificed is very deep and mind-blowing. It certainly is, Yesod. You betcha. Thank you, Yesod. Wonderful, wonderful summary and comment. Yeshai, go ahead, please. Thank you, Yesod. Thank you, everybody so far. Now waiting for Yeshai. While we're waiting, remember, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, we will literally do what is being described here by raising up and bringing back down the Shekhinah in our Sabbath Bride celebration here on Paltalk. So please, please be here. 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeshai, still waiting for your comment. Go right ahead. David, go ahead. David, David, amazing and profound. So much revealed today. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. Thank you, David. My head is dizzy. Well, that's a very good reaction. In other words, you've kind of stopped thinking. And that's a very important part of my teaching, is that the Holy Spirit confounds and stops thinking so you can hear it intuitively. Good. You've taken copious. That's all right. Believe me, it's good you've taken the notes. But your soul understood it the first hearing. That's wonderful. that you've taken copious notes, verbatim. Absolutely. Oh, absolutely, David. Thank you. Great comment, David. Thank you for doing that. You too, Ishai. Good. Brilliant blasts of light on fire and fire in this year, shown forth by the Bat Kol. Speechless. Baruch Hashem. Thank you. You're welcome. Great comments. Now, the two of you guys who took verbatim notes, if you can, now I'm not saying you have to, send those notes to me, email, and I will put them up in both the Facebook group and in the Yahoo group, because that's a great benefit for people to have those notes even while they're listening to the recording. Do you think you could do that, Yeshua and David? If it's too big a bother, don't do it. That's fine, I understand. But if you can, email them to me at my email address. Oh, all right, Yeshua. Then only David. David, could you do that? That's okay, Yeshua. That's all right. That's okay. That's fine. David, would that be a big bother? You're already doing so much. I don't want to add to what you're doing, but if you can, that would be good. I understand, Yeshai. I understand. It would be like my taking notes. Not worthy to be reproduced. David? Go ahead, David. David may be having sound problems. That's all right. All right, if there are no further comments, God bless you all, then I'll see you all tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, for our ritual. Oh, that's good. David, again, it's no big deal. It would be good if you could, but it's no tragedy if you don't, okay? You've got enough to do. All right, everyone. See you tonight.